Okay, we were discussing about the chapter number 5. So before moving ahead, you should remember the three different terms. The first one is the formal curriculum. Formal curriculum is something that it is a kind of education where you learn something while sitting in the class, where you are going to follow some kind of a subject and you have a proper teachers. So these kind of education you normally learn from schools, college and the university, and such sort of education is known as formal curriculum. Other one is the informal curriculum. This is something that you learn not while not sitting into the class. Like for example, if you wanted to go somewhere, like for example you wanted to explore the Dubai, so whenever you will go there you will learn so many things, but you are learning all this stuff without sitting into the class or without following a proper course. So this kind of education is known as informal curriculum. While the hidden curriculum is something that you learn by observing any person, or maybe when you are going to interact with a person, so you learn something from them. Like for example, somebody came and they said assalamu alaikum, so this is something you learned from them, that whenever you are going to interact with a person, so you have to speak and you have to say assalamu alaikum. So this is known as hidden curriculum. If I explain it more, sometime you learn dressing sense from while seeing another person, so you can count them into your hidden curriculum activities. The next is we were discussing in our last class the different types of the school, where we have the faith school. You learn normally religion educations, and then we have the comprehensive system. The old system in the UK in 1960, when they found that this is not appropriate or this is not working well, so they divide the comprehensive school system into three types: the grammar schools, secondary modern schools, and the technical schools. Then the other one is the specialist school, where you learn or you take a command about a particular kind of a field. And then the academies, which can which can be hold or owned by a private or could be the government. So the other one, the free schools, so that these schools are known as the charity schools as well. The next we discussed in our yesterday class, the education as an agency of socialization. So agency of socialization means the social control. Social control is a kind of stability. Stability means that it gives a knowledge, give awareness to the public that what you have to do and what you not have to do. So how you can do this is some kind of a practical implications. And the sanctions, so the sanction is something we divided into two parts: the formal sanction and the informal sanction. Formal sanctions is something which is already written into the proper rules and regulation. For example, if you are not going to school or you are going to school late, so might be possible you will be fined. So this fine is a part of the formal sanctions written in the school. On the other hand, the informal sanction is something when you will get reprimanded because of your late arrival at the school. That would be an informal sanctions. So we discussed another functionalist, Marxist and feminist reviews on the education system or the education institution within a society. So another things we discussed, that factor influence the educational achievement. So what we discussed is that the main factor is the class. The class is something when you count the people who are in the elite class, they have so many opportunities to learn more education. They have enough ability to get admission into the higher secondaries, into the higher universities. So they have more opportunity as compared to the people who are at the bottom level or who are at the poverty level. The other one is the gender. So normally into the society, some people like the feminists believe that this is the patriarchy society, so male has as compared to women have more opportunities to gain more educations. And for example, if you are at home and you have two options to give the education either to boy or either the girl, so normally or the mostly people would prefer boys to get education rather than girls. So the third one is the ethnicity and the race. This is something which has a significant influence on your education achievement. For example, if you belongs to the blackish, or if you belongs to the village, so people will judge you according to the circumstances, according to your nationality. For example, if you are in Pakistan, so whenever you go to the UK, so people believe that they are coming from they are coming from Pakistan, so they have to be something like this, like you can count them as the stereotypes. So people, ethnicity or the race is something people judge you. So if it doesn't matter how many educations or how educated you are. So today we have to discuss in that class is the official curriculum and the hidden curriculum. Official curriculum is something that you learn your primary education from the school, followed by a proper coursework. You have a proper teacher, you have a proper class system, or you can say this is something the part of your primary educations. The other one is the hidden curriculum. Hidden curriculum is something that you learned without sitting into the class. For example, if you are in the school and you are taking the part into the different competition, for example the sports, or it could be any other kind of skills competition. So while participating into that particular kind of a competition, you learn so many things. So this is known as the hidden curriculum. What is the difference between the official and the hidden curriculum? Official curriculum is something that you learn while sitting in the class, and this is a part of your educations. Like for example, in our today class, you are learning and you are gaining knowledge about the different terms. This is the part of your official curriculum, while the other thing is the hidden curriculum. When you interact with someone, when you take a part into the different activities, so you learn so many things. So that's count, or that's become to the hidden curriculum. The last topic of the chapter number 5 is that the measuring intelligence. The measuring intelligence is a huge issue, that how we can measure the intelligence of any person. For example, we normally define that intelligent is something when you are doing great in a particular field. Okay, some people or some students getting a higher or making a higher score into their exam, normally people believe that they are very intelligent people. But this criteria isn't appropriate, or you can say to generalize on the other fields. While like for example, many students who are unable to get a higher score, what they do, they are good in different kind of activities. So some students are great in the sport, some are great in the music, and some are good in arts, and some are good in getting a higher grade. So what is the intelligent? Intelligent is something that you have to do, or you are doing great in your particular field. So particular field, you can't say the intelligence you can only measure with your higher grades. No, it is something that if you are performing well in your particular kind of a field, so you are an intelligent. So while specifically measuring the intelligence is quite different. Some people or some students who are not getting a higher grades, they are emotionally intelligent. What is emotional intelligent? Emotional intelligence mean that the people who are quick to understand what other pupils are trying to say, or what are the problem other people facing, and what kind of a thought other person has. Whenever you understand such phenomena of the other person, so you can count yourself that you are an emotional intelligence person. So intelligence varies from field to field, but this is in a very specific definition. If you are doing great in a one direction, you can count them as a intelligence. So that was the chapter.